Northern edge of the Donetsk sector. A Russian soldier approached a tree, looking for shade, not a fight. He sat, rested. Then the first drone dropped a small bomb nearby. Startled, he pulled a grenade from his vest ready to throw, but in panic, he lost grip. The grenade slipped, it landed at his feet, and everything stopped. Sometimes, the most dangerous strike is the one you trigger yourself. Open terrain north of Pokrovsk. Two Russian soldiers moved slowly through the tall grass under intense heat. One suddenly collapsed. No gunfire. No impact, just the weight of exhaustion. He lay motionless. A Ukrainian FPV drone adjusted altitude and drifted lower. No movement. Then, one clean strike in open terrain. Even the heat can reveal your position. Drone operators from the 14th Brigade scanned the open field of feather grass. At the center of the field, one Russian soldier lay motionless, exhausted, breathless. Recently escaped from the front line. The drone adjusted altitude. It drifted lower, then locked in. No movement, no resistance. A precise strike followed right into his resting place. There was no reaction, only grass swaying and silence. Open fields offer no concealment once thermal detection begins. In the forest near Krasnoyarsk, movement was spotted erratic, exposed. A Russian soldier, alone and disoriented, was trying to escape something unseen, but behind him, a Ukrainian FPV drone was already closing the distance. After several turns, the drone struck from behind. He stumbled. Before he could recover, another drone came from the front. The trees shook for a moment, then went silent. This shows how coordinated FPV drones can seal both retreat and rescue. Outskirts of Donetsk. Ukrainian drone operators spotted isolated movement on a narrow supply road. A Russian soldier was riding his electric bicycle calm, unaware, unarmed. Behind him, an FPV drone was already accelerating. It locked on, closed distance, then struck with surgical precision. The bike collapsed mid-motion. The road went quiet. Even the sound of tires couldn't outrun the signal feed. Drone operators of the 14th Brigade were scanning open terrain. In the heat of the day, they spotted a lone Russian soldier crossing a dirt road. He collapsed face down into the grass, exhausted from the retreat. The drone adjusted its altitude and locked on. Just one last pause before the strike. Open terrain remains the most unforgiving ground when drones hold the sky. Dense woodland near the Lyman axis. A Ukrainian FPV drone hovered at low altitude, scanning tree lines with thermal support. Then heat signature detected. A figure face down, not moving, just a trembling body flattened against the forest floor. The drone paused, then dropped. In thermal warfare, stillness is not safety, it's just delay. Pokrovsk axis, midday. Thermal signature was detected near a dense green patch, one Russian soldier, alone. Ukrainian UAV operators from the 414th Brigade initiated a quiet approach. Instead of direct impact, they opted for a precision drop, minimizing structure damage and signal exposure. Detonation followed a short delay. Thermal camouflage is not enough against a fiber optic FPV. Mid-morning, Ukrainian drone operators scanned a wide patch of open grassland. A lone Russian soldier was seen moving toward the tree line. He slowed down, then stopped, feeling exposed. He reached into his pack, pulled out a thermal concealment vest, and put it on. He sat still, believing the cloak would shield him from detection. But a Ukrainian FPV drone had already closed the distance. It hovered briefly, then delivered a pinpoint strike, not far away. Another soldier heard the blast. He jumped up and ran, then tripped, frozen in fear. He lay face down, motionless. A second drone approached from a different angle, moving slow and steady. It paused, then executed. the field returned to stillness. The heat signature vest never had a chance. Lyman-Torska direction. Movement detected. One Russian soldier hiding in a deep dirt alley. The first strike landed. Seconds later, a second target nearby was neutralized. A third man crouched near the bushes. Another hit, precise. Further out, under a lone tree. One soldier stood still. The drone missed. He ran. The drone followed. It didn't miss twice, not far from there. A small group of soldiers entered a residential zone. One was caught just outside a tree. No time to hide. Moments later, a motorcycle appeared. The drone locked on. The rider never made it through. Drone operators from the 414th Brigade monitored the tall grass field where a group of Russian soldiers was retreating from the front. One of them stopped, sat down, and pulled out a milk can. Another stood nearby on watch. An FPV drone locked onto the group and accelerated. One soldier spotted it. He fired, but the drone was faster. It struck. The soldier beside him stood up, tried to run, but stumbled. A second drone caught up and finished the chase. The last soldier turned and fired a few rounds. The drone didn't stop. It adjusted course and ended the fight. 3 soldiers, 3 strikes, not a word spoken. Thermal detection and delayed pursuit allow drones to exploit soldiers during rest cycle. Pokrovsk direction. A Russian military truck loaded with infantry rolled toward the front line. Drone operators from Ukraine's Tereta unit, under the Skull Battalion, began tracking. The drone adjusted altitude, then dove. Its target, clear. The exposed soldiers in the truck bed never had time to react. Seconds later, the entire vehicle erupted. Metal twisted, smoke billowed. Nothing kept moving. Near the forest's edge, a Russian howitzer sat hidden beneath camouflage. A few soldiers gathered close, unaware of what circled above. A Ukrainian fiber-optic drone closed in, slow and exact. The strike came without warning. Moments later, another artillery piece nearby was hit from above. An FPV drone dropped bombs, one after another. The positions were silenced, and in the stillness, the trees held their breath in drone warfare. Concealment buys time, but not immunity. In the Krasnoyarchensky direction, night patrols of Ukraine's 107th Territorial Defense Brigade locked onto the target. The soldier crawled through the field. Unaware the lens had already fixed on him, the drone circled once, then descended. A strike followed, swift and final. This moment shows how FPV drones extend surveillance and control, even in darkness. Near Vovchansk, a civilian captured rare footage. A Russian FPV drone, flying low, was suddenly hit mid-air. It spun, lost altitude, and dropped. No explosion, just silence, and a lifeless drone falling from the sky. As Russian troops stood receiving an ammunition delivery near their forward position, a Ukrainian drone operator from the Kartia Corps initiated the strike. The drone flew low, tracking the drop point with precision. Just before the supplies were unloaded,